Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wellness Client Autopilot, a 6-month series with our guest expert, Sebastian Hilbert. Sebastian, thanks so much for being here for month 4.
Pleasure as always, Gigi.
And so this month, we will be diving into really understanding a clarity conversation. So how to conduct genuine and authentic sales conversations without being salesy or pushy, which I know a lot of us can be really hesitant. Sales can be such a scary thing. We never want to be that annoying salesperson. So I think this conversation will be really valuable for all of us, because at the end of the day, we do still need to sell.
Absolutely, right? There's no other chance to do it. And I think I talked about this morning again. It's also so important when we talk about trying to move away from a session by session approach towards selling a program or the whole journey. Like in the last session or the last part 3, when we talked about modeling your wellness business and creating that model. But then it comes to your place where you say, okay, like this is the whole journey. Now you need to go on this whole journey, and that's my program. Now that probably is gonna sit somewhere between $1,500 to $3,000, maybe even $5,000, and that is a price tag that nobody's going to pay via PayPal on a landing page, right? So we need to have a sales conversation, and we like to call this a clarity conversation, because if you follow the wellness product ecosystem that we talked about in the first part, and you follow this sales process that I'm about to show you, then it's really just about creating a bit of clarity around some logistics and some details, so that you don't have to convince anyone, or which then causes this salesy and pushy type of behavior or feelings, I guess. Often it's just for us. But what's your experience with sales, Kiki? Do you like it or you not like it?
You know what? It's so funny, because this year I hired a business coach, and really she's more so a sales confidence coach. And she really helped to turn it around. And I'm actually enjoying sales now. It's interesting, and it's interesting how you call it a clarity conversation, because that's exactly what you do. You're providing them with clarity so that they can build the vision for themselves, and you can help hold space for that. And it's rewarding, and you notice that you're already offering value in that call, and without coaching them and without giving things away for free, but you're giving value, and that's something that's giving. I think I always thought of sales as like taking, but I think when you do sales right, it's such a giving and an exchange that it feels so rewarding, and then therefore you don't get scared about like, oh my god, I'm taking. It's a really nice exchange.
Wonderful. And I think you put it in some great words there. What sales really should be about. It should not be this pushy thing and you're thinking that you're taking. It's that, as you said, if it's done in the right way, you're actually providing so much value, because you provide that other person with clarity. Simply talking about where they're at and where they want to be, and giving them a bit of almost like a roadmap to get there. That's already so hugely empowering, because you're giving them the confidence and a way forward, and the confidence that there is something else, that I can actually do something about their situation. That's beautiful in itself.
Totally.
Right. And then it's just up to them whether or not they wanna do this with you, or try something else, or do it on their own, whatever they like, right? Absolutely. And that's when it comes to your detachment from the outcome, I guess. And that's obviously a very difficult part, which we can't go through today. But let's go into what I have prepared. So I'm gonna share my screen. You let me know if that's looking all right.
Perfect.
Yeah, very good. Okay. So as you just said, it's session 4 of our Wellness Client Autopilot series, all about the clarity conversation, and also more about actually how to lead lead towards it. So I want to do two things today. First thing is how to set up a simple sales process that I have implemented in my business and also then further on in my clients' businesses, that allows you to pre-qualify prospects and basically saves you a whole lot of time. That's also what number two is about. Is then I want to show you how to run that 50-minute qualifying call so you don't waste your time with people who are actually not committed. Because if you want to demonstrate a complex pathway solution, like with your model and your whole program, setting the whole journey, you need to spend some time with those people, right? You can't just put it out in front of them in 5 or 10 minutes and then expect them to pay you a few $1,000s, right? So you need to spend some time, but at the same time, you don't want to talk to people who are not ready. That's no point as well. So my just to give a bit of perspective here, my conversion rate in the sales call, the clarity conversation, as we just called it, went from like 20-30% conversion to like 80-90%. And that's not necessarily because I got better in sales. Obviously, I got more confident in all these things, but this simple two-step process saved me a whole lot of time and made sure I talked to the right people. And that's really the clue what this is about. Sounds good?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get started. So just as a quick reminder, this is our wellness product ecosystem. In the middle, we see this is where the clarity conversations sits. So it's very important to understand that you basically position your sales call with the left-hand side over here, right? If you use the language through your 5 channels here on the left, and you use you have a freebie, you maybe have an entry product, you automate that, you have email sent out, that all creates what we call a pre-sold customer, which already positions the sales conversation in the right spot for you and actually starts this filtering process so that you only talk to the right people, which is also much more fun. So that I just wanted to show it as a little reminder where the clarity conversation should happen. I think that this is very important to understand where this sits again. Now, what is that two-step process that I talked about? So it's really not hard. It's very simple. You can see here. It's step 1 is qualifying call, and step 2 is the actual clarity conversation. Now, what is that qualifying call? The qualifying call is the first step that you basically want to put out there once someone puts their hand up and says, hey, I'm actually interested, I'd like to know more. So they'll respond to an email that is part of your nurture sequence after they may have downloaded a free report or they've done a challenge on Facebook, and all these little things that we do to basically get exposure and get ourselves out there. Should always be a simple question in my world. And that's, I think, that many people fall short, is to actually ask, right? Ask, hey, do you want some help? I see so many people out there, they're business owners, they're do great content, they do great blogs, they put lots of effort in their website, they do Facebook Lives, and there's all this great content, but there's never actually a simple question which says, look, obviously I've given you all, that's implied, I've given you all this great content, but hey, now, would you like some help to create a plan or a journey that helps you to achieve, X, Y, Z, less stress in your daily life, whatever you focus on with your business? On that direct question, if you don't ask that, people seldomly kind of initiate that step themselves, right?
Yeah. No one really knocks on your door and be like, hey, can I PayPal you $2,000?
That's right. That's right.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't happen. And if we think about ourselves, when we search something online or we go to an event or watch a webinar, unless there is a direct question asked, hey, would you like X, Y, Z? Would you like to do this or would you like to do that? Would you like some help to create a journey or create a plan is usually a nice combination. I find that works really, really well. But unless we don't ask that, and I ask that in my social media and in anything I do very, very regularly, and just a simple, direct question, no fancy stuff around it, just a simple, straightforward question. And then people say like, yes, I actually would like some help. And then the first step should not, but most people do, is then to have like an hour-long conversation, most of the time unstructured, not really targeted at a certain outcome, not really clear what's happening through this conversation. And then this thing starts where it goes back and forth, and you maybe have 2, 3, 4 kind of low energy conversations never really go anywhere, and then you feel like you're chasing your clients, right? Which obviously takes so much time. So having this first step in between, this qualifying step, is absolutely crucial, because that means you value your own time, but you also value the client's time, or the prospect's time, because they are intrigued, they're interested. Now they want to understand more. And if you understand, if they make a connection with you, so they understand if you can actually help them. Now, that can be done fairly, very quickly. And that's what we would do in the last step today. In the second step, I give you a little structure and a pathway on how to do that. And there is a little surprise at the end of this one as well. So if you watch it to the end, we're going to do this little marketing thing today. If you stay to the end, you will get something. I'm not going to reveal it, but it's pretty straightforward. But it basically helps you to actually implement what we talk about today. So that's I think that's what I'm all about. It's about implementation. So once you've done the qualifying step, you have someone committed, and then you actually say, okay, like I actually feel like it's worth my time to invest 45 minutes, an hour even. I used to do sales calls for an hour and a half sometimes, and really show them all the things that I can do for them. And it will be a beautiful conversation, just creating some clarity. And I find when you do it that way, and you have the right people, it just feels so nice. Like that really want to know, you really want to give, and there's no that you never ever feel like you're pushy or you're trying to convince anyone. And that's really the beauty. So let me show you how you run that qualifying call. Here's a bit of a overwhelming slide, but bear with me. This is an explanation of the 6 steps that we go through when we do this qualifying call. And it starts on the top left with the first thing. When you get on the call, you must imagine someone has said like, I want to get some help, I'm interested, let's have a talk. So you said like, yeah, cool. Here is an online calendar at best. Send them a link. They can book it in their own time. It automatically sets up a Zoom meeting. That's really easy to do these days. And you just simply show up for the call. And then the first thing is what you want to do is build a little bit of rapport, right? So break the ice. What's the weather? How's the family been? Did you have a great weekend? That kind of stuff, right? You don't want to go straight into the real stuff, let's say, but I think we do that naturally most of the time anyway. And then I go, okay, so then tell me a little bit about what's going on in your business right now, or you as a naturopath or as a life coach, you would just say, hey, tell me a little bit about what's going on in your life. And then naturally we'll obviously talk about their problems that they are hoping that you can solve them, that you can help them with and solve for them, because that's why they're there. So when they start talking, they will, in all of these steps, they will always kind of start with the top level, almost like superficial stuff, right? So what you want to do is like you want to really get deeper. You want to understand what's behind what they just said. Now, I'm really overwhelmed every day by all the things that I have to do. Great. Now, why is that? How does that affect your life? Tell me more about that. That's usually what I recommend, especially for those who are just starting with this. This is your like your kind of your get a free out of jail card almost, right? So every time you get stuck or you don't know what to do, just say, can you tell me more about that? And that will just get the conversation continue to flow, and that will dig deeper, and you will actually get something you then can work with, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what I wanted to hear. And naturally, if they're the right person, they will exactly say what you have worked out in your client attraction language. So we talked about it in session 2. If you have worked that out and you feel good about that, the right people will, in their own words, say exactly what you worked out with your client attraction language. It's quite cool how that happens. And when that happens, you know that person is like 99% going to become a client. So once you have that, you make, every time you make some notes, right? So in the now part, you usually, I get a piece of paper, I draw this grid, and then I write rapport, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I make some notes on what they say. And you will see in a second why this is important. So the next step is it's like, okay, so what do you think is missing right now for in your life, or for you to move forward, to change things, whatever it is that you help them do. So you ask them what's missing. And again, that will start here. You need to go deeper. It's always about, why is that? Tell me more. Trying to find out what's behind what they usually say first. Then step number 4 is, okay, let's look in the future. Where do you want to be in, like, usually I say, think about your program's time frame. So if your program goes 6 weeks, 8 weeks, if it goes 3 months, 6 months, I said, like, imagine yourself in that time frame ahead. So in six weeks ahead, or 3 months ahead. For us, it's 6 to 12 months. And tell me, what would the ideal situation look like? And then again, it's about digging deep and always making notes what they're saying. And you may remember, Kiki, we talked about in the client attraction language, you talked about the problems you solve, the outcomes you generate, and the benefit-rich solution that bridges the two. Yeah. So this is basically what we're doing here, right? The now is them telling you the problems. The missing is them telling you what solution they're imagining would work for them. And the future is basically the outcomes that you worked out. Now you can then, in step number 5, and that's when it usually I find it really fun. I mean, I find it stuff fun, but other people may not, but I find it really fun. and because it's basic human behavior, and we can see how that lights up when you get them just to say out loud what's going on in their lives or business. It just provides so much value in itself. So when you then, in number 5, the check-in, you want to reflect back to them what I just told you. That's why it's so important to make those notes. So usually I say something like that. I just want to get this clear. I just want to make sure I fully understand. So your situation right now is, and that's when you reflect on what you wrote down in step number 2. And what you feel is missing is, and that's step number 3, what you have noted there. But what you really want is step number 4. And then you ask, is this correct? Or do you feel like there's anything missing? Sometimes something else pops up that want to add. But you basically laid it all back out to them. They feel you really understand them, and they really feel like you made a connection. You really get them, because that's what I find most people are just looking for. They're actually not so much at the beginning, especially when they've watched your Facebook videos or done any challenges or downloaded a freebie. They're actually not so interested to understand exactly how you can help them. At that stage, they usually just want to feel good about you, make a connection with you, and that comes from them feeling like you actually get them. Do you feel the same, that is really important part of when you first talk to someone?
Totally, absolutely. It's I'm even thinking in my perspective of, I was just on a call with a possible coach that I was thinking about hiring. And yeah, I had read her book. I knew her, like, it's like she didn't have to sell me. I just wanted her to hold space for like hearing my concern, and for her to just kind of be like, yeah, like, you know, so yeah, it's so interesting. And I was just thinking about that when you were explaining that. So yeah, just especially if you do a good job of your marketing beforehand, then like you really don't need to sell yourself on the call. Like they sell themselves on the
Yeah.
call. So
And
yeah.
what you just said there, I think it's probably the core of this call. And in fact, anything that often happens after as well. But this, we just said, like, this holding space,
Mm-hmm.
this concept of creating a space in the sense of a safe space, in a place where people can just say and express where
Mm-hmm.
they're at without fearing that someone will judge them, or this is a really powerful tool for any coach, that concept of holding space. And interestingly, what I found on that, because I've researched a lot just recently about the concept of holding space. If you look at the Japanese culture, for instance, they have 4 different words for the word space, and none of them mean emptiness. Like, we often look at, this is a, this is a space. It's kind of an empty room, or like a boardroom is a space but it's empty. That's never the case for the Japanese, right? For they have, I think it's wa, ba, toroko, and ma. And there are it's one the first one, wa, is about the social structures within the space. So any space that you enter, there will be some kind of social structures. Like a boardroom has a different social structure to your family living room, right? So, and that will determine what kind of conversations and social relationships will happen in that space. The other one is for bars, for around how knowledge thrives. So that's knowledge, is knowledge encouraged, and will it grow and thrive there, or is it suppressed? The other one is Toroko, is about location, like, your office in LA can't be in LA without LA being in the office. This type of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's also true, right? It determines what, if that same office would be in Tokyo or in Sydney, it would be different again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is the empty space. So not the not it's the space of, it's not nothingness. It's actually quite, I found it quite hard to explain. But you know how you sometimes need to not say anything for the other person to kind of take a breath, and then all of a sudden they come out with something quite
Mm-hmm.
profound or very valuable for the
Almost
conversation.
like calming, spacious energy.
Yes. So again, like, this qualifying call is a lot about you creating a space, and don't feel uncomfortable if it feels like you need to be quiet or you don't know what to say. Often there's a reason for that, and just stop, wait a minute, like 20 seconds feels like a minute usually in this situation, and then go from there, right? Don't feel awkward about it. That's really important. So when you've done that, it's like, at this point there's only one question to ask, and that's then step number 6, sooner or later. So when you just reflected to them, okay, this is where you're at, this is where you want to be, this is what you're missing, it's exactly, this is exactly what you could help with. So you just need to ask, is this a sooner or later thing you want to fix? And that basically gets them to commit that they want to do something about what you just talked about now, instead of, oh, I'm not really ready, there's not enough, I don't have the money yet, I don't have the time yet, I need to ask my partner first, whatever it is, right? So, but that's where you get the commitment. That all goes smoothly, and we now took probably about 20 minutes to go through this. You can do this in 15 minutes easily. Yeah. And when you do that, then you usually say, okay, look, this was only a 15-minute call. We can now either go on if you have the time to, and I show you how we can do this together, or we book in another time. Because if it's, you need to value that 15 minutes when you do it. You can't just go, oh, they're ready. Now I'm just going to spend another 30 minutes and explain to them all the details of my product. Need to value that time. That's very important. And also show them that you are not desperate and really getting there, right? It's quite important. We feel like, oh, I need a new client, right? Especially when I'm getting started. That's totally normal. So we just need to make sure that that doesn't come in at this point, and we just let it go and remember we don't want to be pushy.
Totally.
Do you have any questions, Kiki?
No, I love the sooner or later thing, because that's something that I do sometimes struggle with, is like the very end, the close. It's kind of like, okay, so yeah, so like I'm selling something, bye. You almost like, it's good, you build a vision, whatever, and then you kind of like, okay, well, here's my program, like, you know what I mean? And so to actually get them to kind of decide themselves, like, oh yeah, actually, like, I want this now, and then you be the like saving grace at the end of it and be like, well, I have a program coming out now. It feels like it would make it like just more peaceful for doing the sales. So yeah,
that's interesting that you say that, and I think that's so true. It should actually be a little bit. I'm a fantasy fan. Like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, this type of stuff, right? And or Star Wars is a good example as well. But this should always be like your client is like the main character in the movie you're going through here. Right? It's like Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, or it's Frodo in Lord of the Rings. And they have a quest and a challenge, which is your journey. Right? The journey you mapped out with your model. And you just show them the journey and say, look, I'm gonna be Gandalf for you. And I'm gonna support you on this journey for you to go through, right? You're not there to fix, like you're Obi-Wan for Luke Skywalker. You're not there to fix it for them. You're there to support them and empower them rather than fix them. And that's a very different like business to have. And you are in an empowerment type of, like, let's say, call it an industry, rather than trying to fix someone. It's a very different story. And then it also comes to when you run your sales conversation, I find it's when you then map out this journey. Well, this is how I suggest you should do this. And then it's like, so often at the end, I have clients actually almost like begging me to tell what it costs. Finally tell them what it costs to do this with me. Right? They're actually, if you do it right and you do it for a while, they kind of sell themselves. Like I had that just recently happening where like I was completely surrendered to the outcome. I didn't care if that person would come on or not. And they basically sold themselves. They're asking, okay, what's the price at the end? I really want to do it. What's the logistics? And it just kind of naturally happens in the conversation.
And I think that's a great point around the just never showing desperation, even if deep down you might have some as a new practitioner or whatever, like they can smell that. And so really kind of, as you say, respecting your time, respecting their time, and making it clear, and almost like with the pre-qualification, which I think is what you were referring to, with all of this, it's sort of like, look, both of our time is really valuable. And, I only take on clients that I know can succeed. And you know what I mean? Like making it super clear that it's almost like I'm interviewing you as a client. This isn't you interviewing me as an expert necessarily.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. And that can be difficult at the beginning, but if you have that in mind, it changes the energy around the conversation, and down the track, it will make all the difference. Because I remember having clients who were not right, and they suck the energy out of you. They're not going to pay you on time, And that will affect not only your life and your business, but it's also going to affect your other clients. And that's the last thing you want. So it's really important to have that attitude that you're actually interviewing them rather than putting them on a pedestal. Yes, exactly. So to wrap it up, this is actually a part of a 2-page document, which we call the qualifying call template. So this is page 1, and page 2 looks like this. So you can see here, I have a couple of these always printed. And then every time I look at my calendar, it's like, oh, there's a qualifying call today. Cool. Pull out that sheet. Gonna write the name of that person in the top there, write a date there, and then I'm ready to have the call. I have the structure in front of me. I know what to go through, and I fill it out as I go. So we actually thought, how cool would it be if you put these 2 pages together in a little template? So that's the price for today. If you want it, you can just go to wellnesspreneur.com.au/qualifying-call-template, and you can download that for free.
Amazing. That is so wonderful. And I'll be sure to put that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much, Sebastian. I'm definitely going to download that right now.
Perfect.
Until next time, until next month. Can't wait. Thank you.
Yes, me too. My pleasure.